My name is Tia D. Young, Emmy-nominated producer, Black Women in Media Trailblazer Award winner, former plus-size model, and a wife. I've had a really fabulous career and been blessed to work with some of your fave celebrities. I even produced the President of the United States of America, Mr. Joe Biden. Every day when I step on set, I never know what's going to go down in Hollywood, but I've been in the game for over 20 years now, so whatever pops off, I can handle it. The past 3 years have been an absolute dream. I've gotten married, lost 100 pounds, started my own production company, and stayed fabulous while making it all happen. But now it's time to turn up a notch and live the dream, baby. I'm stepping from behind the camera to hosting my own show. This is Totally Tia. Welcome to another episode of Totally Tia. I'm so excited about this episode because today we have wife, mother, Grammy and Dove award-winning gospel artist, author, activist, actress, beautiful fashion designer, Kiki Sheard-Kelly is with us today. Hi, Kiki.
Hello. How are you?
All right, so here's the thing. People don't know, they probably won't know because this is pre-recorded, but it's really early in the morning where you're at. The morning where she is in Detroit, correct?
Yes.
So, and this is how beautiful she is. So I just want to point that out. Very quickly.
Thank you.
Yes. So before we get into it, a couple of quick things. Pork sausage or turkey bacon?
Ooh, turkey bacon.
Turkey bacon, scrambled or boiled?
Scrambled.
Orange or apple juice?
Orange.
Orange? Okay. So what was the first thing you did?
Well, wait, then apple juice.
Apple
Yes, apple juice.
Okay. And so this is the most important. Dunkin' or Starbucks?
Starbucks, but I love Dunkin'. Like they have their that's a hard one.
I love Dunkin'. I love Dunkin'.
Yeah.
Love what you've been a fan. I've always followed you since I was a little girl. And the great thing that I know that you and I have in common is that we're both, I guess you could say, newlyweds still. They always say you're newlyweds for the first couple of years. So you're 2, almost 3.
Yes, I'm 3 years in. Yes.
3 years in. Okay. 3 years in and a mama. Yeah, 3 years in. That went by very quickly.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm trying to figure out if I'm 3 or 4, almost 4 years. So yeah, I'm 3 years in though. I know that for sure.
So I'm a year and I'll be 2 years in November. But, you know, congratulations. I know it's late, but, you know, I just think that it's such a testament, especially it's such a beautiful thing to see today, right? Because we have this culture on the internet that's kind of like, you know, be a hot girl, be this, be that, or whatever the case may be. But, you know, no one really promotes marriage the way that to be promoted back in the day. Yeah. So to see someone that's young, fly, and saved like yourself, you know, walk down the aisle and commit yourself to somebody else is really beautiful. A couple of things that I want to get into real quick, like, you know, of course, we know you come from the legendary, you know, family, you know, and your mom is part of the Clark sisters. And, you know, it's just been amazing to see you grow up with that tutelage, you know, so to speak, you know, how to come up in the industry and how they coached you and, you know, you've been molded and stuff. How did you find your own identity? I know you get asked this all the time. How did you find your own identity, your own voice, you know, with being part of such a big legendary family?
Oh man, that's a good question. And thank you for the congratulatory note and congratulations to you.
Yeah.
Marriage is beautiful. And I actually agree with a lot that you mentioned prefacing this question, but I count it a blessing. I think in the part of your question was how do I manage it all? Was that it?
How do you manage it all, or how did you find your own voice coming up under such a, a big family? Yeah.
I found my own voice because while my family has made the deposits that they've made, they still encouraged me to find who I was. I've heard a lot of my peers say things like, you know, not a lot of them, but some of my peers say their parents might have forced something on them that maybe they didn't get a chance to achieve. And I think the blessing in my village is they own their own paths, but they also saw the gems, the skills in me. And they said, you know, they pushed me forward. And of course, while I was a child, I was a teen, and then going into adulthood, they coached me like, like you said, along the way, but they encouraged me to say, you know, okay, now you got to hear God for yourself. You can't depend on my relationship with the Lord. And I think just their teachings and me even seeing and having a mind of my own as well, but seeing how they had to do some in-depth discovery with the Lord as it pertains to their purpose, that inspired me to want to know, how do I get that they have when they deliver, you know what I'm saying? And I saw that it wasn't just always a skill set, then it was divinity that was accompanied with their skill, if I can say that. So that is what inspired me to want to find my own voice. And then I went through trial and error, you know, just trying to figure out things. Obviously there are things that I was doing along in my career where I probably would never do today, you know, while I was young, and my family let me, you know, test the waters and see what was going on, but not let me get too far. So that's how I found my voice. But I always knew that I wanted to inspire my generation, but do it and start at a young age. So at first I didn't want to sing like what my mom put me out at 9 years old on her debut record. But once I got into it and I started seeing the impact of basically my peers, it was like we were growing together in Christ to be believers and to be bold. That it just empowered me. And I was like, I want to do more of this.
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely, for sure. Now, speaking of finding your voice, we got the book. I ordered it. And let me tell you, it might be a children's book, but it ministered to me. Because, you know, as adults, we need a reminder sometimes. Like, you ain't got to do all that. Like, stick to you and everything will follow, you know? So, and I have to tell you, Kiki, the illustrations, mama, the illustrations, I was like, it looked just like her family. It's so good. And I read your, you know, your prior to, you know, your other books as well, the other 2 books that you have. But this book right here is your first children's book. And I think this is so awesome because you're a mommy now, you know? Yeah. Would you say that being a mother, coming into motherhood, and your decision to write this children's book because you want to be able to minister to other little girls and boys around the world, that, you know, you got Chloe Drew you're raising now?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And like you asked, you know, with the village and being molded, me remembering how impactful those voices of first my parents and then those who they trusted to be around me as a child, I saw what that did for me. And so I'm like, I want to do that for another young girl, another young boy. And then of course, like you said, Chloe Drew has a lot to do with it. I mean, I've seen a quote that says, not only is the child born, but the mother is born too. And so there is this other part of myself that has been born. And I'm like, I didn't know that was something else that I could tap into as far as womanhood. And so I'm just, you know, empowered. And so I'm empowered to make sure that, like, if I can say it, I say it with total humility, but I'm excited about who God has allowed me to evolve into, if I can say.
Absolutely.
I'm excited. I know we should be careful with pride because pride comes before the fall, and I don't want to say too much that I'm proud of.
But I think you should pop your collar.
Yeah. So I'm excited and I'm grateful that I've come thus far because I've made a lot of poor choices. But how the word says, you know, you turn your good, God will turn your what is it? Turn your evil into good. He'll turn whatever was wrong.
He'll turn it into good. Yes. I get it confused. So I'm like, I wish I could get a reference, but I'm always searching through my Bible. Like, I'm in church, like.
And it's morning too, so I'm still, you know, tapping in. But to answer your question, yes, Chloe Drew has a lot to do with it because I wanted her to see herself in books. I wanted her to see other little girls and little boys in books, like, you know, that she put. And I also wanted her to see her faith and what she believes, because it seems like sometimes the world has a huge attack on Christianity and not everything else. And so I am hoping to fill that young girl, that young boy, both young believers up with colors, good illustration, a great story, and a story that's meaningful, because just because they're young, they're not slow. They're very advanced, you know? So that was my intent with this book. Absolutely. Because whatever the little girl is reading from Kierra Sheard is what I want Chloe Drew to read.
Would you say that maybe there's a cartoon in the future?
Absolutely. I want to do that so bad. Yep. And we've been working for that. So please, yes, stay tuned. I want want to so bad.
I would love to see Kiki in all her little pizzazz and her attitude and just, bubbly and everything like that. So let me ask you, you're married, you're a mom now. And I have to tell you that my husband and I, we are on the path to parenthood, and I am like, I'm scared. You inspire me. So I'm just like, girl, like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do with this. I don't know. Like,
you got it though. Anybody that has produced a whole show and has been, organizing and planning, it's already in you. And I was nervous too, but how you just encouraged me and said, go ahead and pop your collar. I'm encouraging you. It's already in you, because in the journey of parenting, I was like, oh God, with you. I've got this. I'm okay. So you got it. It's already in you. Bible says we're well equipped, to do the good things of the Lord. So you got it.
Girl, I'm shooketh. But anyways, look, moving on. So you're managing marriage, you're managing career, several careers. Do you believe that the woman can have it all? She's going to take a little balance.
I believe that the woman can have all of what is hers. Good. I think it depends on how we define what is all. Because if we let the world describe or define success to us, then we'll be caught in the blur, we'll be stressed out and feel like we're inadequate. I believe that I can have all that is mine in the season and the time that God has ordained it to be mine. Because some things we pick up, and sometimes he says, all right, it's time for you to put that one down. You did it. All right, good job. So that's how I would answer that. I do believe when you walk with the Lord, he'll give you every good and perfect thing. But again, it depends on how we define it. And I'll say I have defined those things, or I've defined that way of life incorrectly before. But once I tapped into my prayer life and really sought the Lord and understood what my purpose was in the earth, it was a whole other all for me, if I can say it that way. I hadn't even compared myself to other women and what I saw online and things like that. But now I just operate in a different grace, and I think that I know that grace comes from my relationship with the Lord and him guiding me and him helping me to see the timeline for these things that will be mine and things that I will eventually put down. So yes, I believe you can have it all. I think that it has everything to do with who's defining that all for you.
Right, exactly. So you just mentioned relationships. So let's talk about the metamorphosis of relationships. A while back caused a stir on the internet because you was like, I don't be letting everybody in my house with my husband, and I'm the same way. Don't be coming over here. Like, same way. And it has really nothing to do with the husband, but it has everything to do with people not understanding your boundaries.
Yes.
You understand?
Yes.
Do you find that, or did you find that once you got married, and once you start evolving, and you start evolving into this amazing woman that we popping your collar for today, you know what I'm saying? You start evolving. The metamorphosis of your relationships, some had to get left behind, and it was no love lost. It's just that this leg of the journey, you're not in this right now. No shade, but right now your time is ended and it's time to move on. How a lot of people don't understand that concept. You know what I'm saying? They're like, oh, that's me. Break that down a little bit. You know why that's necessary.
Yeah, and that's why I didn't apologize for what I said. I meant what I said. I think it was Nene Leakes that said, I said what I said.
I said what I said, period.
I said what I said because, and I don't say it with a boastful, disposition or demeanor, but like you said, there are relationships that you learn to. There's a book that I've read by Pastor Darius Daniels, and it blessed me. It's called Relational Intelligence. Yeah. And as a wife, and even just as a teen to a young woman, to now a mother, and then to a wife, or vice versa, you just grow and you learn relational intelligence. So I know we're in a space where everybody's like, cut off who ain't this, cut off who ain't that. And you do have to go through even the word says, identify those who are causing division and do what you need to do. And so that by word is a kingdom principle. However, also a kingdom principle is to understand that if you're looking to live eternity with Jesus, then you'll also have to understand that it ain't gonna be only you up there. So I have to learn how to manage relationships and understand too that covenant covenant and relationships are a divine gift from the Lord. So to answer your question, how I've managed it along the way is I've learned to compartmentalize. And yes, there are some too where there were just simply expiration dates on certain relationships. Because if we're growing, if I'm saying I want to go higher and you're saying that I'm okay with where I am, then there's going to be some organic or natural separation that happens with the wheat, the tear, sifting. You know, it's going to be natural separation, or even a caterpillar to a butterfly. There's a separation, like you said, metamorphosis. So yes, I've had to go through these things, and then there have been some come to Jesus moments where I've had to sit some friends down and say, hey, you know, I want to healthily make this or see this growth spurt. And so this is where we are, or I don't think it'll work at this point in our lives. Sometimes some relationships can be too exhausting. And if I'm calling myself, and then of course with prayer, I ask the Lord, hey Lord, help me to manage these relationships, or if it's a conversation, or if it's going to organically happen, or if it's going to do it for me. So yes, I've had those moments, and I just have to keep pushing. Everybody's not going to like, you know, the decisions we make, but going back to that point I was telling you about, the mother is born now, there's an unapologetic part of me that I didn't have before, and I don't feel guilty. And I also think sometimes when we're making decisions that's causing us to grow and tap into the furtherance of God's glory and his goodness, sometimes the enemy will make us feel guilty about some decisions, and that's a character of the enemy. The Bible says that he's the accuser of the brethren. So he's going to accuse you and make you feel guilty as you progress. He's going to make you feel wrong for wanting to progress. But I just have to keep doing what it is and understand that I have to protect what God has given me, because I have to answer to God before I have to answer to people. So I just keep it rocking, I keep it moving, and I'm grateful that he's given me wisdom, because I don't want to cut off or remove myself from those relationships that are like fountains and not drains. And sometimes we can get the two mixed up.
Okay, it doesn't matter what sector you're in. If you're in gospel, if you're in, it doesn't matter. Everything crosses, you know?
Yeah.
I think it's shocking for people to see women like you or like myself who are like, okay, yep, we got our beat, we got our wigs on, we got our jewelry, wearing these stilettos or whatever, but we still love the Lord. And I think that it's just hard for people to understand the concept of somebody being fly. I think people still have this perception that you got to be like, oh, like that's not what it is. Like, you know, or whatever. So it's just tell the young women out there or whatever that it's okay to be you and still love the Lord. You know?
The church is embracing the kind of woman that you are, because you are needed. You are that voice that will reach what someone else is not reaching. So be who you are. God has put those things inside of you so that you can reach and be a disciple of Christ. But outside of that, everybody can't be the same. We're gonna be robots. If we're gonna be all clones, you know.
Clones, yes.
Like, who stands out? And I think if we're all clones, then we don't speak of God's glory. We don't speak of God's goodness. So own who you are. You yourself, you bring glory to God. People are gonna look at you and be like, ooh, God is good, honey. And that is what it's supposed to be. That's like God, he is that. He is all that. And so I think that you should absolutely be encouraged and embrace who God has called you to be, because again, a clone, we can't reach the same people. So own that and go through your scars. Even our scars is what will make us different. You know, I may have a scar on my arm and you may have a scar on your leg, and we both have a story of those scars. And then how did you heal? I healed this way because my skin is made like this. Those intricacies have a lot to do with the beauty of who we are and the beauty of God's glory. And then, you know, often tell a lot of people, there's a sermon that I spoke of before, and it said, I'm supposed to be here. And it talks about the scriptures of the children of Israel where they felt like they were ants or grasshoppers to the giants of Anak. And this story, it blessed me because they came back and were telling the other promised people, I don't think we can go over there and possess what God has promised us because we seem so little to them. But there was a friend that was like, have you lost your mind? If God said that is yours, then it's yours. Embrace your fly, embrace your promise, go for it and own it like it's yours. And you need friends like that too, to say, are you missing something? What's happening? To remind you of who you are. So absolutely, I think that you should be encouraged. Young girl, young man, man, woman, whoever you are, hang in there.
Yes, exactly. Real quick, we're gonna let you go. Favorite artist right now?
That's so hard.
Gotta give me one.
I don't want to give you a generic response or a predictable response, but right now I've been listening to my mom, Kierra, and she's been in the studio, so that's all I've been listening to.
I don't think that's predictable.
Okay.
I don't think that's like, no, I think that's like, that's your mother. Like, yes. You listen to your mom. All right. So,
and you know what else, Tia, if I could just add, Chloe Drew, when she's crying in the car, because you know you got to get the car rolling.
Yeah.
She won't stop crying unless I turn on Unconditional Love by Kierra Sheard. And I'm literally like playing it out, and I'm like, what is this? So she stops crying, she goes to sleep at this song. So that's been my song. I play it like 50 times.
What is the name? It's not, I know this Sheard is not gonna be like, okay, you can call me grandma. What's the name?
So Jacob, my nephew, he has already named my mother, which is Nana. So we just keeping that. I wanted her to call my mother Glammy for Glammy. But we're gonna keep it at Nana so that it ain't no confusion.
It's crazy because when my cousin was born, my first cousin, I call my grandmother Nana, and I would not let him call her Nana. I was like, you have to pick your own. And so your own, you don't take mine. And so
I love it.
Yes. Okay, quickly, what's your superpower?
Ooh, multitasking.
Okay, great. And something you completely embrace about yourself with zero hesitation that empowers you.
That's a good question. And the fact that I just paused, that means I got some more work to do. I want to say my weight because I call it my juice, but sometimes I'm like, okay, you just one hamburger away, so let's just, take one out. But let me figure this out.
If that's what it is, then that's what it is.
But you said no hesitation. There's just a little hesitation.
Okay, all right.
I know, right? I'm loud. I am loud. I like good vibes too. So I'm celebratory, if that's the word.
Yes.
I embrace that. That's who I am.
Yes, me too. I'm very loud. Okay, finish this sentence. I am proud of myself because.
I am proud of myself because I keep diving deeper in God, in my faith.
Amazing. I'm currently addicted to
my daughter. I have such a hard time with not being with her.
I am happiest when
my daughter.
Oh my gosh! Is this my future, Kiki? I'm like, oh my god.
It might be.
Usually I'm happy when I get a new wig. Now you're like, oh, I'm happiest when I'm with my. I'm like, is this my future?
Right. Yeah, I think right now it's my daughter. That's my happiest man. Love is Kierra and Jordan, honey. We putting in the work.
That's right.
Love is, of course, we believe God is love, but right now I'm just seeing a deeper level of love with my husband and how we're just making the sacrifices and changing for each other. Like a good change though. Like it's like, Kierra, you got to work on saying this and reading the room, see what's the right time. All right, babe, you got to work on your tone. And we're literally changing the tone of our home together, and it's just beautiful. So that's what love is.
That is so beautiful. Thank you so much
for
coming on Totally Tia. I really appreciate you. We got to get you in studio when you're in Atlanta. I tried, girl, but you all over the place. I'm like, I get it. I get it.
Absolutely.
But yes, thank you so much for waking up bright and early. I really appreciate you. It's been a good time. I could talk to you forever. I have so many questions, but I know you have to go.
If I gotta do it, I'ma do the most. Since they paid to see a show, got the South overflow, yeah. If I gotta do it, I'ma do the most. Watching me, they take no raise a toast to the goat, yeah. Body be dripping and fancy. Pat on my nose with that fancy. Money on me, I got plenty. Hundreds, 50s, and 20s. Stay fat, lot of them. Rags, house by the lake, bought that. Opposite the brakes, draw back. Paddock on my wrist, I'ma hit them with a drip. They gon' pay the VIP to get a pic with me. I'm a star. Brand new keys to the car. I'm the boss and the king and the czar. Got them so high, so addicted. Telling me I'm the only queen of his heart. Guess I let you co-star. If I gotta do it, I'ma do